Hi there. Welcome to my weekly Facebook Live show. I'm Jen Burson, founder and president of Generation PR and the creator of the Powerhouse Pros community, the Pitching Powerhouse podcast. How's that for some alliteration on a Thursday? Welcome to this chat about burnout. I'm hoping some of you find it. I have noticed lately that last week was fine, but the week before, all of my people, my ride or dies, said they never saw me go live. I just went live before. I had to delete all of those posts because, now I see you guys are here. Perfect. Okay, before I was on and I'm like, where is everybody? So something's going on, but you guys found me now. Let me know who's here. Welcome. I'm so happy that this worked out and that I canceled the first one and came back. So today's chat is about burnout. Hi, Nicola. Let's talk about burnout. Let me know in the comments, first of all, who's here. And I know we've all felt burnout, but how are you feeling right now? How are you feeling right out now? Are you feeling like you need to recharge? You feel like you're losing motivation, that you're having a hard time maybe executing those high impact projects or really struggling to deliver those stellar results that you're used to bringing to your clients and your agency. Or maybe you just don't have, like, you're feeling such a sense of overwhelm or exhaustion. You just don't have that drive to achieve or even to set your professional and personal goals. Does that resonate at all now or ever? Let me know in the comments. Some members of our community are feeling actually really awesome, which is great. It's very motivating. I see thumbs up and things, but very motivating to get on our calls. We just did a pitch lab call yesterday. Wednesday was yesterday. And they're always incredible. The caliber of people that are on these calls, the level of support and resources and ideas that are shared is just like top notch. And I always feel that way when I get off the calls. Like, what a great group. We're all here to help each other. And it is very uplifting. And some members of our community are like, I'm really loving this. This is really a great time for my business. And see who's that? Is that you, Chrissy? Of course, it says Facebook user. So, is that Chrissy? Yup, motivated. It could also be Lauren, who was on the call. Chrissy was on the call. Always a great call. That's the Pitch Lab call. And then, of course, we have Agency Accelerator and our AA Plus group, which are all very serious agency owners focused on high impact efforts to grow their businesses. So those calls are also very much about growth. It's Lauren. I had a feeling. Okay. Hi. Love it. Lauren's crushing it. A lot of business. And that's in large part because she has a very specific niche. And she is now the go-to authority in her niche for supporting coaches, experts, authors, thought leaders. And she has personal experience with that. And then, of course, through her business, she's working with some of the top names and she is attracting her ideal client like a magnet because she has such a defined niche and she's getting results. So, of course, that's highly motivating when you feel like you love the work you're doing and clients are finding you and finding value in those results. Nicola's saying, not feeling burnt out at the moment, but need to stay focused. I can relate to that as well because there's always something that could take my focus away. Shiny object, something with the kids. Right now we have no nanny, so I'm cutting my day short to go pick up my boys at 2:30, and it takes about an hour and 15, 20 minutes to do the rounds and pick them both up. So if I don't really focus on the first part of the day, then I feel like I didn't get a lot done because my day sort of ends at 2:30. hoping to find a great driver, family support person. But we are going to talk about how we can identify burnout. What do you do to boost your productivity when you are feeling that sense of overwhelm? We don't want to run you ragged. I don't want to run myself ragged. So how do we boost our productivity when we're feeling like this? I have 6 tips to share with you for stopping burnout in its tracks and refocusing your energy so you can use that on the right thing and not actually expend energy, space in your brain to things that are not going to move the needle forward or not going to energize you and in the work you're doing. And then we're going to talk about building a healthy routine and why that is actually the best defense against burnout. So how does that sound? Let me know. Comments, because I can tell when you guys talk who's here, and I know who I'm chatting with today. So far, I know Lauren, Nicola. I see those thumbs up. Thank you for that. Hearts. Give me all the engagement, because it also helps more people find us. So thanks. Okay. So I know right now, I've heard it a lot in our audience. We have so many members that are feeling at least some kind of burnout. It might be creeping up on you. Maybe you just got out of a rough burnout period and you're sort of moving forward, but you're feeling a little bit like, okay, where do you generate that energy? Because we don't, we create energy like a power plant, right? So you can use some of these strategies I'm going to share with you to generate your own energy, to create. You don't kind of wait until you have energy. You make it. You have to create it. So we are going to talk about how you do that if you're feeling really overwhelmed, and whatever that feeling is, burnout, overwhelm, exhaustion, even that feeling of confusion, like, what am I supposed to be focusing on? It's really important to unplug, take control, get some perspective, and take that burnout and just put it in the back seat again. And we know the reason this is so important is that when you are in that phase, you are not an effective agency owner. You're not effective as a leader to your team. It's harder to execute those high impact projects or to deliver the results that your clients are looking for. Or even what's so important to me is just finding joy in the work you're doing every day. That to me is the most important thing, is just finding that joy and satisfaction and appreciation for the career path that you've chosen. And if you're in our community, the fact that you're likely building your own business and working for yourself. So a lack of motivation that comes with burnout will end up throwing a major wrench into the growth trajectory of your business. And we don't want that to happen. I want you to feel energized because you are creating the energy you need to run your business. I want you to be motivated to love the work you're doing and to identify and nip this in the bud before it becomes a big problem. So the 6 of my best strategies for kind of fending off that entrepreneurial burnout and recharging yourself. We're going to dive into these. I love my little lists, and we'll talk about the 6. And then I'd love to hear from you if one of them resonates on with something you're doing that's really working, or something that sounds like you would want to try it. Let me know in the comments, because that really helps me understand where you are and what you think is going to have an impact for your business. The first thing is focus on deep work instead of little short tasks. So I know that, and look, I've got my list. Knocking out a ton of little small tasks throughout the day, it might feel productive, but it's just burning you out and depleting your energy for the more important projects, the bigger, more important use of your bandwidth. Things like responding to emails right when you get them, pausing the deep work that you're doing for little short client calls, or even changing your music, something that you're like really in the groove, those things can all break your focus and make it harder to concentrate on getting back to work, getting into that zone in the flow state. You're responding to an email that comes in because a client needs you right away, or your team member slacks you and you get that little alert and you kind of shift your focus and then you have to get back to it. That's called context switching. And every time you shift or switch to a new task, your brain has to recalibrate. It has to wrap itself around the new task at hand, settle into a new type of mode. Like, what does it need? What do you need from your brain to be effective for this next thing? And you're trying to get into a different flow, and it really wastes that valuable energy. It'll increase your distraction and your procrastination levels. It's like you're just constantly moving from one thing to the next without actually getting into that deep work, that flow state, which is where you do your best work, which is where you have your biggest impact. So, is that Lauren? Yes, deep work is crucial. I do 3 blocks per day, 50 minutes. I have a deep work playlist on YouTube. See, every time I would be very curious to see what's on your playlist. Did you develop it? Is it somebody else that put it out there? And it's sort of like, there's music that's like brainwave stimulating music that I've heard. It's like, and it's kind of just your brain adjusts to it, but it gets you into this. It's someone else's. I'd be curious if you're willing to link to it. Because like I said, when you have music and you shift or you have to change your playlist or whatever, your brain just doesn't get into that flow state. And I love this deep work concept, because when we are reactive, when we are constantly checking email because we think, well, we're a service-based business, clients need something, I have to get back to them right away, or they're going to think I'm not responsive and I want to be the most responsive that I could possibly be, you're never getting into that deep work. And I think this is Lauren, I'm assuming, because I said it and you didn't correct me, but you have a process for 3 chunks. You're time blocking your day, 50 minutes, which is a good amount of time. Sometimes people have to work up from 20, 25 up to 50, but 50 minutes is sort of the max amount of time that you can focus before you need to kind of take a little break, give your brain a second to reset and then get back to it. But that context shifting is a really wasteful use of your valuable energy. It'll increase your distractions and it'll elevate those procrastination levels. So instead of putting a ton of small tasks on your to-do list, focus on deep work that's going to require uninterrupted time. And if you feel the most energized in the morning, which is where I have my best creativity after I've walked the dog and I've had little coffee. I'm drinking my iced latte now. Figure out where your energy is at its peak. And do not spend that best focused version of yourself on email. Email is like just a low output, low yield effort, and it's not going to move the needle, right? It's not business development unless you're actually crafting outreach. When I say email, I mean like you're replying to people that are just asking you questions. You're triaging email that comes in. So you need to block out that time to focus on high impact projects that will actually move the needle. Business development, following up on open leads, creating strategies, finishing proposals and sending them off to the client, things like that will really benefit from that focused attention you have. And you want to eliminate interruptions as much as possible and put your deep work time into your calendar. One of my mentors, Amy Porterfield, calls it tiger time. It's when she is super focused and it's in her calendar so her team can see that she's not available. There's no team meetings, there's no client meetings, there's no interrupting during that time. So Lauren, I'm curious if you block out in your calendar and focus on that, and you also maybe set, that's what's so great about Apple is like up in the top right, There is a little drop down menu also on your phone, and you can set focus and you can customize those alerts. So like my kid's school can get to me during that time if there's some sort of emergency. My husband can get to me during that time if there's something he needs to talk to me about. So I've set those parameters so that I can block out everything and not get any alerts for either an hour or whatever. Lauren says, I do. It's in my calendar so my team knows. Yeah, that's the way to do it. And it's super effective. And she has a lot of clients. So even managing where they all are in their different phases of working with her might feel like a lot of context shifting, just moving from client to client. But having those 50-minute blocks of uninterrupted time and your team doesn't bother you, you can focus and get into that deep work state. And I'm still also really curious to see your YouTube playlist that you're listening to when you're doing that work. We might all benefit from that if you're willing to share. So number 2, let your flexible schedule actually be flexible. This is what I feel one of the biggest benefits of being an agency owner, being self-employed, running your own show, is the ability to make your own schedule and set your days up in a way that will work for you. But you need to fully step away from your computer to get those benefits. So if you can't fend off burnout or recover from exhaustion because you're constantly tied to your desk, tied to your phone, mentally checked in to other things, even when you're physically elsewhere, right? It's that feeling of, okay, yes, I'm going through the motions. I'm going to go for a walk, but I'm actually checking email or I'm on a call. That's not really stepping away and giving yourself an opportunity to fend off the burnout, recover from exhaustion. If that thought of spontaneously stepping out for even a few minutes causes you anxiety, raise your hand. I've been there, no longer, but I would say you're probably on the path to burnout. It's that feeling of like, I can't not be here because I have to constantly be checked in. My husband and I, a couple years back, went to Mexico. We went to Puerto Vallarta. We rented a big house with a bunch of other couples. Makes it super affordable, by the way. These are like gorgeous, stunning houses, and there's a chef, and they come with the house, and you just tell them what you like, and they'll go to Costco, and you just reimburse for the food. It's like super reasonable, especially when you go with a lot of families. We're talking like $200 a night all in for each couple, which is amazing for the level of accommodations and luxury. You're just like, oh my God, my chef just made me a frozen margarita and delivered it to the pool. And my husband and I looked at each other and I said, you want to know something really crappy? We were like in the infinity pool overlooking the ocean at this beautiful house, probably day 3 of a 5-day trip. I said, do you want to hear something really crappy? I cannot relax. I just cannot relax. And he said, I know, I can't either. And I think we were both really feeling that sense of burnout where even on a vacation, stepping away felt impossible. It felt like guilt-inducing. And so we kind of both had, one eye on iPhone, phones, checking email, and we ended up kind of wasting this incredible vacation because neither of us could really, truly get away without that anxiety. And I think that we really identified that as like, okay, we're on the path to burnout. We have to, change some things. So, and that at the time he had his own business as well. So, and he still does. This was, last like 10 years, he's had his own business. So I want you to really take advantage of the flexibility that comes with being your own boss and being your own business owner. If you have to step out unexpectedly, let yourself do it without any guilt. It's like, yeah, it'll all be there for me when I come back. No problem. I'll handle it. There's not going to be an emergency. Clients are not going to need me and be like, why aren't you at your desk? There's no reason to be chained to your desk. And also, I think post-COVID, clients, companies are all realizing that people can be incredibly effective at what they do wherever they are. You have an internet connection, you can work from wherever. And I've been working from home for 18 years, but most people have enjoyed working from home at some level in the last 3 years. And you can be very effective no matter where you are. So you shouldn't feel guilty for stepping away. And you can also, and I hope that you schedule time off into your calendar so that you can make that mindset shift a little easier. So maybe you plan for a weekly lunch date with a friend, or with your partner, with your mom or your loved one, and you choose your favorite spot downtown, even if it's not super close to where you're working. Where you can say, like, I've really wanted to go there, and I can take that time and go zip out and stay connected to the people that matter most to me and try a restaurant I've been dying to try, even if it's not just right down the street so you can pop right back in. Sometimes I will do this with my husband, like on a Friday, if he's feeling like he has a light workload, he will say, hey, can you join me for a hike? And I used to say, no, I can't, because I have to work. And now I'm like, yeah, it's an hour and a half and it's beautiful out, and we get to hang out, just the two of us with our dog, be outside in nature. It's very energizing. Why the hell not? Maybe you have to kind of be part of a carpool or school pickup that'll get you out of the house for an afternoon or two each week. Do that guilt-free. I am now the one primarily picking up my kids from school. My husband takes them and I pick them up. Kind of disrupts the day until we find the right person that can support us. But I'm using that time to say, oh, I get to listen to a book, an audiobook, or my favorite podcast on my way to, and well, not on my way back, because they will be like, what is this podcast? It's stupid, but on my way to go get them, and it's pretty far, 40, 45 minutes, I will listen to something that enriches my life or energizes me, or I learn something, and use that time to say, like, I'm not going to just be on my phone having a call with my team or my client. I never do that, actually. I try to never schedule calls when I'm in transit with my kids, only like in a rare, instance. So schedule that time, really reap the benefits of being your own boss, because that's why we do this. And that, like I've mentioned a million times, my definition of success since I was an attorney and now having my own business is really being in control of my time, having flexibility and freedom to do what I want and be wherever I want without having to be accountable to anyone, working with clients that I love and truly believe in, and not having to work with clients that kind of suck and drain you. You can choose. And so I want that for you to be flexible and actually allow yourself to guilt-free take advantage of being your own boss and the freedom that allows you to have. Number 3, I hope that you set aside time to rest. And I have been guilty of this too, where sometimes resting feels like laziness. Where if you take a minute to just lay down, unwind, hi, Nikki, timely at the moment, as I just got kids back into school, youngest, and trying to do it all and dropping balls. I know that feeling. It's really hard. Really resonates, Jen. A shame I can't stay live as I have to serve supper, but I will catch up on this later. Yes, please do, Nikki. Especially moms. I know Lauren is doing it all with, how many kids do you have, Lauren? 3 or 4? I think you said 3. And she's single mom. It's really, really hard, and that guilt gets you. But resting is not laziness, even if it is in the middle of a work week, in the middle of a work day. If you're feeling like you need to take a little break, then you need to rest. And this is how you can also effectively fend off this entrepreneur burnout that we feel. Weekends and nights are made for resting, recharging, but maybe you take a longer lunch break, or you do a mid-morning pause after you finish a big project. For me, that's taking my dog for a walk. That's really vital to beating burnout. Today, I ended up taking my son to school because my husband had a networking event the other direction. And every like 2 weeks, I'll say, can you take the boys in the morning? One of my sons is on a retreat. Oh my gosh. Wow. Lauren, single mom of 4. And I keep a tight schedule, 9 to 5, weekends and nights off, naps every weekend. Yeah, good. I mean, you're committed to that. And especially because your agency is so busy with so many clients, I think that's going to really help you fend off burnout by sticking with that and really focusing on what your body needs and paying attention to that. But today I brought my son to school, and I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to come home and I have some deep work that I have to do before I go on my Facebook Live. And I'm going to feel guilty if I'm not taking my dog for a walk. So I actually put her in the car. We drove to a different neighborhood, all new path, all new smells. Oh my God, she was in heaven. I took her on a 45-minute walk, got in, 5,000 steps. A spa membership, love a float tank. I haven't been in a float tank yet, but I've been wanting to try it. I'm a little claustrophobic, so I'm nervous that I'd be like, get me out of here! And I'd feel like I was drowning or like captive, but I really want to try it because that concept of like, basically float tanks are designed in a way, it's like equal, it's like you are floating in exactly your body temperature, and you're buoyant in there because of, I guess, like the saltwater concentration. So you're just literally like floating and weightless, and because it's the same temperature as your body, it's like perfectly, you just feel like you're perfectly floating. And you get to that level of relaxation, and some people get into like a deep meditative state. And I've really wanted to try it, but for that reason, I'm nervous. I'd be curious to hear if you think claustrophobia would kick in or how to combat that. So yeah, took my dog on a walk, banged it all out before 8:30, and now she's on the patio right there. I wonder if we can see her. Can we see her? Oh, she's right there behind my fan. You see her? There's her tail. Anyway, and that's great because now I have the rest of the day besides this to really focus on getting some work done, and then getting my son at 2:30. So, you've got to take those moments to kind of recharge. And also nights and weekends, I love hearing Lauren really blocks out those weekends for napping, resting, try to every now and then take a longer lunch break. And don't forget vacations. Like I said, when you're out of the office, make sure you're really out of the office, and don't do what my husband and I did on that trip to Mexico. And we like burned a vacation because we were still checked in. We were like checking laptops and iPhones. Keep your laptop closed and snooze all but the most important urgent notifications. Make sure your clients know that you're going away and what the plan is so that they feel supported. They're not going to be like, you don't get to take a vacation because you're on retainer. They'll go, cool. Okay, I'll see you when you get back and we'll talk to so-and-so in your place. Or you've planned, even if you're a one woman show, you have planned for being out. Everything's been handled before, and you'll pick back up when you come back. No problem. And you don't have to worry about that. Clients are people too. They get it. People need vacation. So don't fret because you feel like they're paying a retainer and they're going to say, give me my money back for a week because you're out of town. Never happened. Never happened to me in 18 years. You want to be intentional with your weekly rest time. And that means you are not sitting there laying in bed, scrolling social media, looking at TikTok, shopping online with apps, tapping things on your phone. That is not the mental break that your brain actually needs. You want to go for those really energizing, but still calming. It's like creating the right energy, not overstimulation because of social media, like putting a bunch of stuff in your face. I don't know about you, but at this point on Instagram, I'm following so many marketers, and my whole feed is like, buy this. Here's how you create all this content using AI. Generate 3 months worth of content in 1 minute, using AI. And I'm like, I need to be doing, it's like, it just shows me all the things that other people are doing. And I feel like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. We're all doing enough. Okay. Like, these are other people that are trying to, and I put out content too, and just so you guys know, I'm not the one creating our content. I have a team that it's not me. It's like we have people. So if you think, oh my God, I have to do this all by myself because all these other marketers are out there just generating all this content and showing me all the things I'm not doing, just know there is so much going on behind the scenes that it's not one person getting all of this accomplished. So go for those energizing, but still calming, like refreshing your energy. Those activities like walking around your neighborhood, walking with your dog, maybe doing 10, 15 minutes of yoga, a couple yoga flows, sun salutations, stretches, maybe explore the local park. Or if you love animals, like go to the zoo. I love the zoo. Our LA zoo is really cute. My favorite is the Santa Barbara Zoo. It is the cutest zoo in the whole world. I even looked into getting married there, not going to lie, because I went to college up there and I love Santa Barbara and the zoo is so beautiful. But they were like, you have to be out by 8 p.m. And I'm like, what kind of party ends at 8 p.m., right? So did not get married at the zoo, but you can also bring a friend or a family member, your pet, not to the zoo, but on a walk around the neighborhood. This will also get your brain out of work mode because you're having a conversation and you can talk about trips or what shows you're watching or things that are, funny or, kind of like what you're looking to do with your house. Are you renovating? Are you organizing? Like, these are things I love to talk about, of course, but it's that feeling of not physically being elsewhere, but still talking and thinking about work. That's not the kind of reset I'm talking about. If you'd prefer to rest at home, sit with a good book. We love the Libby app. If you guys don't know about Libby, what it is a free digital library checking out service. So you use your library card and whatever books or audiobooks are in circulation at the library in your town. But I have a hot tip for you too. If you use Libby and you're like, I'm waiting so long for these titles. So if there's 10 copies of a book in circulation at the Los Angeles Public Library, you can check it out if it's available, or you can put a hold on it. And then when it is available, you can check it out. You can listen to audiobooks, or you can download a digital book onto your Kindle, and it's all free. And if you feel like you're constantly waiting because you want to read all the new titles, you can actually get a library card in another town and use their library system. You just sign up online for it. So try that and see what happens. But Libby, so that's the Libby app, and you can get free books. So check into a good book. That's the Libby app. And you can borrow, I think, 30 books, and you can put a hold on 15, 30 books, something like that. So there's always something you can be reading. Maybe you're cooking a simple meal, something really nutritious and energizing, or you're having just a relaxing self-care pamper day. My husband is excellent at this. I just put a sauna at the back of the property for him. I don't like the sauna. I feel like I'm going to die when I'm in there, but he loves it. So he'll say, I'm going to the spa, and he'll go up on the deck. He'll go in our jacuzzi, and then he'll go in the sauna, and then he'll sit on the deck and he'll read. And of course, my children don't want to go outside, so they leave him alone. I say, of course, my children don't want to go outside. Maybe you guys have figured out how to get your kids to play outside. Unless there's a screen in front of their faces like this, they're not interested. We have a basketball hoop, we have all the things, and we have ping pong table, cornhole, a little tiny little putting green. They're not interested. So my husband is taking full advantage, and he'll play tennis, come home, go to the spa day. me, I'll take like a long shower at night and, just feel relaxed, kind of having that space to myself. Maybe you are watching a movie with a family and you make it a tradition. You do Friday movie nights. We do that. We pop popcorn. The kids love it. The last movie we watched was really cute. It was called You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Really cute. Very funny. I really enjoyed that, so I would recommend. So set aside that time to rest and mentally be where your body actually is. Really, actually rest. Number 4, prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. When you are staring down a mile-long to-do list, that's when entrepreneurial burnout can hit really hard because everything is all of these things on my list have a line and they all look like they're equally important. And it looks like I have a jam-packed day and it's really hard to prioritize those tasks that are like must do. At the top of my list, I do say top priorities, but I have my appointments. I have a wish list of things that I hope to get done, but the top priorities are like must get done today. You want to look at a list with prioritizing the tasks that will be the most important and help prevent overwhelm and help you tackle the day strategically, calmly, where you're not frazzled like, oh my God, I've got to get to this and I don't have time now, or this knocked me off track and I spent too much time on this other stuff that's not really important and now I don't have time to get to the most important things. So the other thing that we like to recommend is creating a list of things that you choose. It's a not do list, not a to do, but a not do list in your agency. And if one of those tasks is currently in your workload, try to delegate it to someone else on your team. Try to hire somebody who loves that thing. I don't like anything related to a spreadsheet. I don't want to do reporting. I don't want to deal with that at the end of the month. I was doing it and it would like really just feel like it was drudgery for me. So when I hired my team, I made sure that they knew and they were ready to handle the actual development of the reports and summarizing the monthly reports. So all I had to do was like mini zhuzh it up a little bit, pop some extra things in there that made it like really impactful, and then send it off on behalf of the team. And so that's on my to not do list is reports. High impact tasks that require a lot of mental energy should be done first. If that's when you feel you have the most energy, focus, and creativity, some people don't feel ready to go until maybe after lunch or after around mid-morning when they've had coffee and they've kind of like walked the dog or done the things that sort of have to be done early. So wherever you have that energy, that's when you should build it into your calendar. Having a clear vision for your agency. Have you even really thought about that? Like the vision of the company you want to have. I've been doing this 18 years and I still take the time to think about how I want to move my business forward, the kinds of clients I want to work with, the kinds of services that I really love, that I think we're really good at, and that we can leverage case studies to bring in more of that work. And the kind of work I've done that I'm like, you know what, this just isn't like social media. We have basically dropped social media execution because it's really time consuming, really expensive, very hard to find a team that is great at executing, and low margin for me. Vision and values spoken like a true agency accelerator member. That is pillar 1, strategy. And we do focus on vision and values. And I even have a vision code that we work through together that is all about, it's a formula that I give you and we walk through it. I just happen to have it on my desktop. And we create that vision code. So you are speaking in the present as if this vision for your business and your life is already happened. And it's crazy, but then it starts to fall into place. Manifesting if you're nasty. Janet Jackson, anyone? So it's really important to have a vision for your agency and for yourself as the role of leader in your business. That's going to make prioritizing a lot easier. So everything you're doing, everything you're working on, when you have that opportunity to focus, it should push you toward your goal and move the needle forward for your agency. And this is really important. It's a major part, this honing in on your agency vision. It's a huge part of my Elevate group coaching program. I'm going to link here to an information page if you want to learn more about it. We are taking applications for the next cohort, which kicks off in January. We want to give people time to get ready for the investment and the transformation that comes with this program. And it's application only. So if you're interested, that is the application. This is why it's really important. And Nicola knows this because she said vision and values, which means she's gone through this. Your values and your vision, they're filters for your to-do list. They're filters for the actions you take, the decisions you make in your business. And anything that doesn't align with those, they should get shifted to another team member or removed entirely. If this thing someone offers you doesn't move you closer or move you in the direction of your vision or doesn't align with your values, it's a hell no, right? It's very easy to say no. Whereas like before, maybe you're operating with a little bit of guilt, like, oh, if I say no, I'm going to seem ungrateful or like I'm a jerk. No, if it's not a good use of your time that moves you in the right direction, it's easy. It's an easy no. And that's why it's really important, because it's like becomes that filter, that lens of like, do I do this? Do I focus on this? Do we go down this path or no? And that in and of itself is a huge reliever of stress, overwhelm, burnout, because you're not saying yes to things that are basically just for other people and a waste of your time. Sorry. Number 5, cut down on communication. I'm not saying to not talk to your team or your clients, but when you are actively trying to fend off burnout, it's important to take time away from your phone, your email, Slack, however you're communicating, and try to cut down on the notifications. Those apps are constantly sending you notifications, right? Like you're getting your phone vibrates. Your Slack goes, I turned that off. I turned off notifications on the phone. Maybe something pops up, but only essential things. Not every, I have people that are getting 100 notifications a day off CNN, Twitter, People Magazine, all the things that just keep popping up their team. Like, my kids with my older son with TikTok. I'm like, you have ADHD. You cannot be distracted all day long with these notifications. I just heard that kids get at least 250 notifications on their devices every day. Kids, where their brains are still forming and their attention is a muscle. It's like something that you train and you exercise so that you can have a longer attention span. These kids are just having shorter and shorter attention spans. Yeah, it's really scary. And especially my son with ADHD, I'm like, I know that this is incredibly damaging for him and his ability to focus. So we're always trying to combat that. And I want you to do the same. The alerts, the pings, the things that pop up, limit that access. Do not give apps and websites and companies access to your attention. That's what alerts are doing. Oh my God, there's a huge bee right above me. Ugh. Hopefully it finds its way out. At least it's not a hummingbird, right? There's always hummingbirds stuck in my office. Which, don't get me wrong, I love them. but it's really stressful to get them out of the house. I never want to hurt them. And they're always like panicked. Come here. Come here. My kitty. Come on. So don't give people access to your attention span. You want to minimize alerts as much as possible. Every notification is pulling you and your attention away from what you're working on, and it'll snap your brain out of that focus mode. The more notifications you get, the harder it is to ignore them and to keep working. And when you finally do check your phone or your email, it's really easy to get distracted, to get sucked into it. Let time go by as you read your messages. The next thing you know, somebody sends you a link to something, you click it, and now you're like in a link clicking rabbit hole, just trying to, get through those alerts that you have piled up on your phone. So I want you to combat this by strategically snoozing notifications, putting your phone on silent throughout the day. You just switch it off. My phone is always on silent. Always. Let me see my doggy. She's so cute. My phone never makes any noise. It never vibrates now either, because I realized it was vibrating in the middle of the night. And I don't want it making any noise ever. So then I got nervous, like, oh my God, what if I lose it? You can ping your phone with Find My Phone, because my husband would say, I'm calling your phone, but it doesn't vibrate and it doesn't ring. So where is it? Well, you can ping Find My Phone on a computer, your watch, your family with all their shared devices, and it will make a noise even if it's on silent. So don't worry about that. But I have had my phone on silent for years. And sometimes my mom will call, hi, Mom, if you're watching. She always watches my replays. And my mom will say, you didn't answer. And it's like, if my phone's not near me, or if it's not, near my computer where she gets to come through because she's a VIP, it'll ring on the computer. If I'm away, I don't hear it. And, my phone barely rings. So I don't want noise. So I turn it on silent. Blah, 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 blah. Where am I here? If you are waiting on an important call, obviously don't turn your devices off. I will have it sitting right here, and I can see if like my kid's doctor's calling because we're waiting for some information or waiting for something from the school. But closing out of your email, snoozing those notifications for an hour while you focus on a project, it will do wonders for your concentration. And you have to do that favor for yourself. You have to set aside that dedicated time each day. So you're not doing it throughout the day, all day long, but going through your messages, responding to emails outside of that super focused time. Because that should take, a minute or two here, maybe 10 minutes there. Don't give that your most creative, most attentive time of day. You'll be able to focus on communication and strategy instead of just kind of quickly getting through everything and just kind of, like I said, triage, and you're just like firing off responses. You can put thought into your responses when you really have that dedicated time and you're not trying to just get through email and get back to the thing you really need to do and losing productivity and context shifting. There's some study out there that talks about like the amount of time it takes to go from one thing to another and really get your brain into the flow. And it's a lot longer than you think. This is why they say multitasking doesn't work. I don't know the exact number, but let's say people think it's like 30 seconds. It's like 7 minutes, something like that. So think of all of that time you're wasting going from one thing to the next. The last thing is taking care of your mental and physical health part of your routine. Not an afterthought, not a nice to have, not something you do when it's absolutely necessary, but exercise, eating healthy, having mindfulness practices, gratitude journal, deep breathing, just resetting your energy. All of those practices will go a long way in fighting off burnout, and making them a priority it can be difficult when you're edging towards burnout. So you have to start making them part of your daily rituals, like a habit. Like we brush our teeth every day. That's a habit. You brush your teeth twice a day. That is a habit. So how can you start to incorporate these other things like mindfulness or exercise or eating well, having healthy food in the house? How can you make them part of your everyday habits? Maybe you start the morning with a guided meditation. You could still be laying in bed, just sit up. And we listen to Peloton. They have a whole meditation side of their practice. You don't even have to have a bike or a tread or anything. You can sign up for the Peloton app. There's tons of free guided meditations on YouTube. You can get the Headspace app, the Calm app, and make it super easy and set a little alert and start your morning with a guided meditation, even before picking up your phone to check email. Don't let other people's priorities in your inbox set your priorities and your stress level for the day. Start your day focusing on mindfulness. Maybe you're journaling. You have a journal, a gratitude journal next to the bed, and you will kick off your day kind of sitting up in bed, grab your journal and your pen, and that will help ground you for the day ahead. The best exercise for you is the one you will actually do. Okay? If you like spin class, but you don't find the time to go because you've got to get the shoes and the clothes and drive to the spin class, and you have to pre-check in and get a bike, and that's stressful. I don't know. Even if you like it and you're not doing it, that's not the best exercise for you. I have realized the best exercise for me is walking the dog. I live in a hilly neighborhood. I will do a brisk walk. And while I still have my exercise clothes on before I take my shower, I get on my little under the desk treadmill, under $200 on Amazon, easily pull it. I have a little standing desk thing. Like, I'm going to raise you up. See? So instead of getting an entire standing desk, I got because I have a big iMac, so it's not a laptop. I needed something that would hold the whole thing. And I can watch content that I love that energizes me or catch up on some training while I'm walking on this little mini treadmill. I think it's called a walking pad, but there's a million of them on Amazon. There's going to be another, it's called Prime Deal Days. It's not Prime Day. It's another supplemental thing they're doing in the coming weeks. They always go on sale, and it's super easy, and you just wheel it under and wheel it out of the way. And so I will do that. And that is the thing that has actually allowed me to exercise. I also have a set of hand weights. I will do a 5 to 10 minute arm weight exercise on Peloton. I will do a plank for a minute, and then I'm done. So just know that the best exercise is the one that you will actually do. So plan out, when are you going to go on your long walk around the neighborhood? Are you going to take a fitness class? And if you do, get a friend to do it with you, so that instead of saying I don't feel like it, you are actually accountable to someone. You've committed to them. I'm going to see you tomorrow at, F45 or whatever class you're going to do together. Maybe you run around the park with your kids. That's exhausting when you have little kids and they're all over and they're scattered in 2 directions and you're moving around constantly. If you're at the park for an hour with your little kids, you will get in a lot of movement, and it's great for having fresh air and being outside. Very energizing. Also, commit to cooking nutritious meals a few nights a week, so you're not eating out or ordering Postmates. That's also a great way to decompress. People find chopping very relaxing, or cooking, stirring sauces. I used to drink a glass of wine when I would cook. I do not enjoy drinking at all. I don't feel good anymore. It's just getting older. So I don't, and it's sad because it's kind of a nice thing to do. But So I'm not doing that because it made me feel worse. But I still like putting on music and cooking and being in my kitchen. Sometimes I'll listen to a podcast. But that could also mean spending time with your family, getting them involved in the process, but you're also decompressing and fueling your body. So instead of looking at it like a mundane activity, like I have to cook, look at it like a release, a creative thing you're doing with your hands. You're putting in love and effort and doing something pretty repetitive that also happens to be very calming. And the end result is you get to eat this delicious meal that you've created. You can also batch, cook and do freezer meals, or chop everything up on Sunday and have little containers ready to go. So it cuts down time during the week. But having a nutritious meal is another way to fight burnout, because at least you are energizing your body. You are feeding your body with good, energizing, nutrient-rich foods that are not from a restaurant that you have no idea what went into it. Salt and butter and sugar and all the things that are going to make you feel really drained. One of the biggest parts of entrepreneurial burnout is feeling defeated or hopeless at the office. That's a terrible feeling really defeated or feeling hopeless or aimless. And one of the ways I want you to help prevent these feelings, or if you see them taking over, to sort of nip them in the bud, is really celebrate every day what you've accomplished. The little stuff, just the little stuff, even like little basic stuff, what you've accomplished. I have set up, what is it called? I'm all Apple. I'm like an Apple spokesperson. And in fact, 13 years ago, I was an Apple spokesperson. If you've never seen that video, let me know and I'll link it. It's super cool. But I was featured on the Apple website and da-da-da-da-da. So I feel kind of like I have to keep all my Apple products going. But I have, in the Notes app, you can create a note. It's actually really cool because it syncs all your devices, and you can add somebody to it. So I've created notes for me and a note for my husband on our accomplishments, and we have them shared. And if he tells me something, like he yesterday booked a speaker gig, so I go in his little notes app because I don't want him to forget all the things that he's accomplishing, because maybe he's in between deals and he's feeling really defeated because he's like, I'm really like trying hard to get a deal right now. I'll add it to his notes app and he gets a little alert. Oh yeah. And anytime he's like feeling a little bit defeated or aimless or hopeless, he can open that app and look and see everything he's accomplished already this year. Or, and like when I add stuff to it, he goes, oh yeah, thank you. Like every time, I think he forgets, but I'll do it for myself too. And he'll get a little alert, and then he'll text me back and be like, that's awesome. You just grabbed a new client. Like, I love it. Good job. So keep celebrating those wins, big or small. It could be landing a new client, or as small as even sending a complex email to a client. Like, those emails where they ask a question and you're like, this is going to take some time. And you really focus. And when we do those, we try to make a template out of it and put it in Agency Accelerator, so that we don't have to, our members of our community don't have to wonder, how would I answer this? What would this look like? But and you can do the same in your business. If that comes up again and again, now you have a template, you can customize it for each client, but you've done the hard work. Like maybe it's explaining ROI and PR, and they're like, how do I measure ROI? And you like have a way that you've responded to it. Celebrate that. That's hard. That takes a lot of bandwidth. And that's a mini accomplishment that is worth celebrating. So rather than pushing forward and only looking for those big wins and feeling like I'm not really getting anything done, celebrate those little accomplishments. If you're really struggling with those feelings, call on your community for support. You can vent about your situation, which not only helps put things in perspective, but it'll show you that you're not alone. That's one of the great things about our calls, is that people always say, oh my God, I'm not the crazy one, or you guys are dealing with this too. How did you deal with it? Or this is very normal. Like there's not something wrong with me. Venting about your situation also, with a group that knows you really well, your friends, your family, your partner, they will remind you how talented you are, how capable you are, all the things you've accomplished. And we tend to focus and really magnify and shine a light on little problems or situations that arise and overlook all of the good things that have been part of the process up until now. Like you post something on social media and you get 100 people that are like, this is awesome, I love it, way to go. And you get one troll that's like, you're annoying, I don't like your face. I get this all the time. I run ads everywhere. And I get all these men that are like, you're annoying. I don't like your voice. You sound stupid. And I'm like, well, you're not my target audience, so that's fine. But it takes a thick skin to say, like, I'm not going to let that person get to me. We tend to do that with little hiccups and problems, like we'll fixate on it, right? So friends and family, our community will be there to remind you of just how awesome you are and all the things you've actually done. And just venting, it's like therapy. It gets it off your chest. And also when you're talking to people that are doing what you're doing, they will say, me too. I've done that too. Or that's happened to me too, and here's how I've dealt with it. Or no, you're not crazy. Or here's a way that I can help you see the finish line and move forward from this. So those are my 6 tips. I'm going to just say them one more time. 6 powerful ways so that you can avoid burnout. Focus on deep work instead of those short tasks, because you're just going to feel kind of aimless and not get a lot of really powerful things done. Have a flexible schedule and actually let it be flexible. Dinner with a friend, brunch with a spouse, go for a hike. Really find those pockets of time to re-energize yourself by not feeling chained to your desk. Set aside time so you actually do rest, and don't rest scrolling your phone. Prioritize the things that will align with your vision and your values. We focus a lot on that in the Agency Accelerator. It's a huge part of Elevate as well. And cut down on all the unnecessary communication. Shut off the notifications that'll just zap your attention, and you're like, squirrel, like short attention span. You don't need to be alerted to everything all day long. Do not allow apps and companies to have access to your attention span. And 6, make the fact that you have to take care of your mental and physical health. Take that seriously and make it part of your routine, so it becomes habitual and it becomes something that you are just doing consistently. Like exercise doesn't have to be a huge put on an outfit, go drive it, half hour to a class, do an hour class and come back. That's not what exercise looks like for everyone. Do exercise that's the most important is going to be what you actually do. Even if you do 5 minutes, pick up weights, do a little, something, move your body, do a plank, whatever it is. Just commit to doing something. It doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to look like how other people are exercising. And, I know that it is avoidable, or we follow these tips and we can help kind of push it off, but sometimes it's just unavoidable. And leading a business you love, one that really lights you up, that makes you feel energized, that gives you peace of mind and clarity, and you're running your business from a place of inspiration, that is what we offer and we can get you to in Elevate. So I am going to put a link here so that you can learn more about the program and apply. We are going through applications and getting back to people pretty quickly. And Tuesday, I'm hosting a masterclass that is called, I don't even know. I forget what it's called. It's not on here. Give me one second. I want to tell you what it's called. And it's by invitation only. So you can only attend if you go to it's From Struggle to Success. 6 secrets for strategically scaling your digital agency. If you are interested in attending this masterclass, it is by invitation only and only for people who fill out the application and get accepted to not, you don't have to enroll right away in Elevate. You have to apply and get accepted to come to this masterclass from struggle to success. So if you have any questions, let me know, but hit up that link right there. We will kick off the next cohort of Elevate in January. So if you're like, I don't have time, we know this is a busy time of year. We are getting everybody prepared to get the most out of our next cohort in January. So that's what I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my gosh, look at all the love up here. So appreciate your time. And I know burnout is real and we all have felt it at times. And we are here to support you and give you the tools and strategy to help you combat these challenges when you feel them creeping up. So thanks again. I love all the loves and the hearts and the thanks, Lauren and Nicola and whoever else joined us today. Thanks for being here. Have a great rest of your week. And I will see you right here next week for my weekly Facebook Live show. Take good care and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye, guys.